Good morning, everyone. This is Jeffy Kennedy, author of Fantasy Romance and Romantic Fantasy. I'm here with my first cup of coffee. Mmm, very good. 2%. I'm getting used to the 2%. So today is Monday, May 17th, and I am out in the Great Barber again. We bought a Wi Fi extender, and it seems to be working beautifully. So not only can I record out here now and enjoy my mornings in the Great Barber, it's a little bit we have a storm coming in this afternoon, so it's a little bit turbulent. There's a breeze blowing. You can probably hear my Greek chimes. Um, but now I can work out here too, and so that'll be nice. Bring the laptop out here, and sometimes I've thought, well, I could just work out here without internet. Gasp! But who really wants to do that anyway? Inevitably, I end up needing something on the internet. So, today, the fashion accoutrements, I have my beautiful new Sephora jacket. Isn't that nice? Beautiful logo. It's got the star deity on the back, which I don't think I can show you. Let me see if I can pause. Okay, I had to stand up to do this. So now I'll turn my back. See, it's got a hoodie, and then it's got the star deity on the back. Isn't that pretty? Okay, I'm going to pause again for scraping of chairs. Okay. I don't think Leslie Penelope's listening to the show anymore. She mentioned she'd fallen off of it. And, but if she did, she would probably make fun of my editing. I stopped listening to hers because of my whole Google Music thing. Well, and Podbean. So I discovered that my phone was totally running out of storage, which I didn't understand. And it turned out that Podbean had like sucked up all of the memory. And I was using Podbean to listen to Leslie's podcast, and that was pretty much it. So then I've started trying to listen to it through our website, but it hasn't been working as well. And then you get behind. I know some of you like glom mine, like Evergreen comes in and gloms after a couple of months. I guess I could do that. Earrings today these are fun, aren't they? I tend to forget to wear these. Definitely major dangly, very large. Big, long silver wire, simple wire, and then with a diamond shaped sort of, I think it's ceramic, very thin ceramic disc at the end with gold, a gold splatter. Maybe there's an artistic word for that, but like it's almost like if you were doing spackling over the top, like that painting technique. So red with gold. These were given to me by the boss and friend I was talking about that I went to Vieques with. I was amused because like the Vieques tourism industry Twitter started following me, or Instagram, one of those. I always think it's funny when one of those starts following and you're like, that was kind of a one-off, but hey, welcome. I never do those posts like other people do, like welcome new followers. Although sometimes I feel like I should, because it's like if you followed me for travel tips about Vieques, I mostly tweet about books and that's where I get stuck. It's like, what do I mostly tweet about? I don't know. Washcloths. I had a long conversation on Facebook over the weekend about washcloths, and I did go and buy thin washcloths. I finally decided and I'm going to use a fresh one every day, which does feel princessy, but that's what I think it's going to be better. And I went to Bed Bath and Beyond and got like the cheaply packaged, as many people recommended. And what's funny on those things, and I know I've mentioned it before, is that there are inevitably the people who comment who give you answers to a question you did not ask. What is this about human nature? I mean, or is it the internet? I can't figure it out. um, because I said in my post very specifically that I've gotten a new skincare routine. And part of it's because I'm doing this video. And part of it's because I'm on Zoom so much, I started wearing foundation. So I've never been a washcloth person. I feel like there are washcloth people. Do you guys know what I mean? I've just never been a washcloth user. But the routine that I'm using now to make sure that I really get my skin clean of the foundation, because I never wore it before, I need the washcloth. The splash splash method doesn't work. And but then I was keeping like the same washcloth for a week, and it was getting fusty smelling. And it seemed that the consensus was a lot of people said that they just use a fresh washcloth every day, and to get the very thin ones, that's the thick ones that retain too much moisture and get that fusty smell. I had a lot of people giving me unsolicited advice on how to like clean my washer and use bleach and on my towels and everything, but it's and people in the south, and I was like, no, I live in the desert, this isn't normally a problem, and I don't have this problem with anything else. It's only the washcloth that I'm letting air dry, and not many other people were going as long as I was, not a full week. um, but then someone else had to weigh in and say that she like just washes her face in the shower and massages with the very tips of her fingers, and that her dermatologist says she has the complexion of a 30-year-old. And I was like, yeah, okay. Not what I asked, but congratulations. Just a funny thing. I think people just love to give advice, and so if they've got a piece of advice that doesn't actually fit the question, they'll just offer it anyway, and it's like, a few other people did that, suggested different makeup wipes, and it's like, no, I've used those little makeup microfiber things, and I didn't feel like they worked for what I wanted. But so let's see. I was going to say something else about that. I don't know. Birdie singing. We do have a special shout out today to my agency sister, Vanessa Riley, has a new book out. And I'm not going to be able to show you guys the cover, but I will put it on the show notes. But it's historical romance. And she and I are both with Sarah Younger at Nancy Yost Literary Agency. And this is called An Earl, the Girl, and the Toddler. It's a book in the Rogues and Remarkable Women series. And let's see, I was trying to find where they. So this is what they say. Acclaimed author Vanessa Riley, who's a very sweet person too. They didn't say that, I said that. Infuses the ballroom settings of Regency England with hints of Demerara Island and Jamaican flair in Rogues and Remarkable Women, her series revolving around the Widow's Grace, a secret society of widows battling society to regain their positions and a chance at love everlasting. In this sweeping, swoon-worthy second installment, a shipwrecked woman searches for her memories and become. Oh, I love me an amnesia story. That was me. it, I have to pause here because I think Laura Darnell said that she likes my dramatic readings. I hope I don't sound sarcastic. It's just I can't help it with the way these things are written out. I feel like it needs that voiceover quality. So, but then you can also hear my asides, right? Okay, so a shipwrecked woman searches for her memories and becomes entangled with a conflicted nobleman who holds more answers than he realizes. Vanessa Riley tackles race and women's rights through a historical lens like no one else, spotlighting the whitewashed history of Black people in Regency era England, ideal for the Bridgerton watcher. Or washer. An Earl, the Girl, and a Toddler is a moving tale of two people willing to love at all costs. Um, that came out at the end of April, so you can get it now. I will put a link in the show notes and the cover and so forth. Here's the actual about the novel blurb. Masterminded by the town's most clever countess, the secret society, the Widow's Grace, helps ill treated widows gain their reputations, their families, and even find true love again, or perhaps for the very first time. Surviving a shipwreck en route to London from Jamaica was just the start of personal maid Jemina St. Moore's nightmare. I'm hoping Jemina. I want to read it like Jemima, and that's wrong. Maybe it's Gemina, Jemina, Gemina, Gemina. Let's go with Gemina St. Mars nightmare. Suffering from amnesia, she was separated from anyone who might know her and imprisoned in Bedlam. She was freed only because barrister Daniel Thackeray, Lord Ashbrook, was convinced to betray the one thing he holds dear, the law. Desperate to unearth her true identity, Jimena's only option is to work outside the law, which means staying steps ahead of the formidable Daniel, no matter how strongly she is drawn to him. Married only by proxy, now widowed by shipwreck, Daniel is determined to protect his little stepdaughter, the toddler, Charlotte, from his family's scandalous reputation. That's why he has dedicated himself not just to the law, but to remaining as proper and upstanding and boring as can be. But the closer he becomes to the mysterious, alluring Gemina, the more Daniel is tempted to break the very rules to which he has dedicated his life. As ruthless adversaries close in, will the truth require him and Gemina to sacrifice their one chance at happiness? I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no, that they are going to find their one chance at happiness. Plus, toddler Charlotte. It actually sounds fantastic. So, uh, you know, few things are better than. I have a very soft spot in my heart for the Caribbean sailing, and all the better if it's a more reasonable representation of all of the people involved, not just virginal white heiresses who somehow find themselves aboard pirate ships, which happened distressingly often, according to the 80s romances. It was amazing how often they ended up on board pirate ships. Ah. So, um, I was very happy last week. I did get my 15,000 word week on Bright Familiar. I've passed midpoint. It's not what I thought it would be. So goes life. So goes writing. Uh, but I'm happy with it. It's- it was funny because I said to Dorinda, um, I said, she said, well, it seems like it's flowing much better for you now. And I said, yeah, I stopped fighting it. And I said, but there's like way more sexy times in the Arcanium and so forth than I thought that this book was going to be about. And she's kind of giving me this look. She's nodding because we're on Zoom together. And I said, and I'm worried that, I mean, do you feel like that fits the promise of the first book? And she's like, yes, what's the question? I was like, okay, all right. I just wanted to check. Uh, there will be much more conflict in the second half of the book, but the first part has really been a whole lot about Gabriel and Nick figuring their shit out, as it were. Now I kind of want to write an amnesia story. What is it about amnesia stories? It's like, I don't know. Hmm. So, wow, Wi-Fi extender is working just great, isn't it? This is awesome. Um, oh, I know what I was going to say. I do want to link to David Cochran's newsletter. I think I can. I think I can link to it. Otherwise, you might have to sign up to read it. But he sends out a newsletter on Fridays. It always has some interesting information, especially for people who are self-publishing. But for trad writers too, because he talks a whole lot about visibility on Amazon and useful stuff. And this would be for any writer, but I think readers would be interested as well to some extent. Um, and it was interesting because he was thinking along the same lines I was. as far as newsletters, because I was mentioning how Assistant Corrine got so aggravated that she was getting those newsletters from authors that had "re" on the subject line as if they were replying to her. And I was talking, I don't remember if it was Friday or what, but I was saying that, if you're trying to trick your readers, you're not building the best relationship. And then David Cochran uh, wrote this very succinct article that's probably far better than how I put it, where he said that, excuse me, he said that during the pandemic, he had signed up for newsletters from these different clothing companies because he'd ended up buying so much clothing online. And that he had signed up for their newsletters for one reason or another, usually because they offered him a discount if he would. And he thought, oh, well, sure, I'll take your discount. And he said sometimes he wasn't buying the clothes right then. And, he said sometimes he might have been waiting to see if they went on a deeper sale or, something like that. And he said that he noticed that all of these clothing companies were using email marketing exactly the same way, and that it was universally terrible, because he said they immediately began emailing him daily, if not multiple times per day. And I can vouch that this has happened for me too. I mean, even my favorite places to buy stuff from, I have ended up unsubscribing and spam blocking their emails because, and he points this out because he's pretty analytical about this kind of thing, but he looked at what they were doing and that they were, in fact, I think I saved it so I could probably just speak. Oh no, I moved it. Oh well, I did save it, but I'd have to find it. But that they would, oh, I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna pause. Okay, I found it, but it wasn't worth the pause. He does have a funny tweet on it, which maybe I'll just try to embed. But he said that they all have the same approach to marketing. Now I am going to reference it. Uh, Dangle discounts to get a sign up, great. Offer discount code immediately, good. And then email every single day repeating the same offer, please stop. And he said that what they're doing is they are maximizing going for that immediate sale as opposed to building a relationship, which is what we were talking about, right? Um, this marketing approach where you are maximizing that momentary contact, the sale of that book, and then sacrificing your relationship with the reader, it's just not, it's not smart. And I mean, for a clothing company, bad idea. For an author, terrible idea, because we're not in the business of selling one book. We're not even in the business of selling one series. If you want a career, if you want um, to be in business for a while, then you have to have readers who come back for book after book. And that's, well, the by tricking your readers, by emailing them all the time with the exact same offer without providing good value, it's just, you might rethink your strategy if you're doing that. And readers, if you're getting that from authors, uh, don't don't put up with it. I mean, that's how things change, is if you feed that back and unsubscribe. And then if they don't unsubscribe you, that's a real problem. You know, report their asses. All right, I am going to get to work today. Garden is looking pretty. Just about got it there. Gonna get some stuff finished up today. Um, I will remind you all, First Cup of Coffee is part of the Frolic Media Podcast Network, and you will find more podcasts you love at frolic.media/podcasts. And I will talk to you all tomorrow. Take care. Bye bye.